Today we're going to be talking about the guys who have spent the majority of their seasons coming off the bench this year and playing great when they enter the game. And the key word is the majority. There are guys like Wilson Chandler who have spent half of the season on the bench. I more so want to talk about the guys who, from the get-go, it was you're a bench player and they've really embraced the role. And the first one is going to be Jordan Clarkson. These are in no particular order, but Clarkson's ability as a scorer really intrigues me because his ability to create his own shot, as well as play off-ball, are both really exciting. Hopefully he can make the improvements defensively, and hopefully he can be a bit more consistent on his three-pointer, but Clarkson's very good nonetheless. Zach Randolph, who I think got a blessing this season from the emergence of JaMychal Green, because Randolph has been able to preserve his body a little bit more, but his low-post scoring, as well as just bully ball, have been really solid still, around 14 points a game. He might be the best rebounder off the bench at about 7 or 8 a game. And the thing with the Zebo as well as the Grizzlies is, no matter where they're seated in the playoffs, it seems like once the postseason comes around, they always get a little scarier. I think that physicality just rubs teams the wrong way, and maybe they'll be able to make the same impact this year. But still, Randolph, he's doing a great job. Now we go to Enes Kanter of the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think he's found the perfect home for himself. I mean, the type of center he is, who is an effective low-post scorer, who just isn't good defensively, you can't really be a starter anymore, and I think that's a testament to just how the game has changed in terms of perimeter play and pick and rolls and all that. But you have Kanter come off the bench and go up against other second units that are just simply not as good when it comes to that type of stuff. He kills it, man. And the lineup of him and Steven Adams in the game together was effective at times last season for the Oklahoma City Thunder, especially in the playoffs. Will it be able to work this time around? I don't know, but it's going to be intriguing to see how Billy Donovan executes Kanter's abilities once we get to the playoffs, because I think the Thunder are definitely an intriguing team for the postseason. Eric Gordon, who may be the sixth man of the year for the way that he's just fit in with the Houston Rockets so beautifully. He's attempting about 9 3-pointers a game, and he's still making a decent amount of them. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Plays off of James Harden very well because he's an awesome shooter, but then when Harden's out of the game, he's able to lead Mike D'Antoni's offense as well. And I think all of us were a bit surprised by just how much he took a jump, because you looked at Gordon in New Orleans and just seemed like a guy who was affected by injuries and whatever else. But he comes here and, I mean, he's just been fantastic for them. I mentioned before, he could win the sixth man of the year. But the funny thing with the Houston Rockets is, because of the trade that they pulled off at the trade deadline, they also have the other sixth man of the year candidate in Lou Williams. And he's been pretty okay since the Rockets acquired him. Of course, a large chunk of his season was spent on the Lakers, where he was also their leading scorer off the bench. I mean, it's kind of a cheat code that the Rockets have just two guys of this level when it comes to like their second unit, because teams are looking to find just one guy who can average 10 points consistently off the bench, and the Rockets have two who put up 15 plus and can create their own shots and just fit into the James Harden pick and roll with shooters around him narrative so well. But then they can also lead the offense themselves. So Houston's a scary team. I've talked about it before, and they have two of the top bench guys in the NBA this season. Now we're going to head over to San Antonio. Patty Mills, who has started 7 games for the Spurs this season. For one, he's able to continue the Spurs' philosophy of moving the ball and making sure everybody gets a touch. And while I would never consider him to be one of the better playmakers in the NBA, he knows what he's doing within the Spurs' offense, which you of course need if you don't want Popovich to yell at you all the time. But the scoring has been huge as well. His three-point shot has just been awesome for them. And Tony Parker, who is the starting point guard of this team, his three-pointer is just not there. He doesn't provide the spacing that Patty Mills provides. And Mills has actually had quite a few games this season of like over 15 points a game. I think it's because his pull-up jumper within the pick and roll allows him to create his own shot at times. Now, before we dive back into the list, I want to talk about some guys who were considered and one of them is Bogdanovich of the Wizards. He's been fantastic since Washington acquired him, but it's only been like 15 games. I don't think I can really put you on the list when it's only been a 15-game stretch of you being very good off the bench. I think you would just simply need more time. And in the case of Dario Saric, he's spent a decent amount of his season on the bench, but I feel like Saric's best games, as well as his most consistent stretches, have been as a starter. So as a result, I wouldn't include him here, but I would still mention it. We can look at Marcus Smart of the Celtics, whose defense is always very good, and his improvements at playmaking and playing in the pick and roll are huge, but he's still so damn inefficient, I just can't put him in here. Will Barton's scoring is held up for Denver. It's just tough to make the top 10. Some guys just have to be left out. He's one of them. I would leave Alan Crabb out because while he's been very efficient, he really can't create his own shot like some of the other guys on the list. Jamal Crawford, I would have put him on here if he was still putting up 16, 17 a game, but he's only putting up 12 and he's still inefficient as all hell. Austin Rivers has made a jump this season, especially when it comes to his shooting, but similar to Barton, it's just tough to make the list. Joe Johnson, he was so damn good for the Heat last season, it's just been a little bit of a drop-off. Joe Ingles, I think he just doesn't have the ability to explode like some of the other guys do for like a 20-point game, even if he is very consistent. I love Corey Joseph and what he does in the second unit for the Raptors with his playmaking and his improvements with his shooting. And then we have Tim Hardaway Jr., whose scoring has been real for the Atlanta Hawks lately. I mean, these guys have been very good. It's just like, you just have to pick 10. And then finally, Shaun Livingston, his playmaking has been down this season. Maybe it's a testament to Kevin Durant, I don't really know, but if he's only getting like 1.7 assists a game as opposed to 3, it's kind of tough. Back to it, my favorite player in the NBA, Andre Iguodala. His three-pointer is still real as he's shooting around 36% from outside, which is good enough given everything else he can do on the floor. Is he going to be the lockdown top 5 defensive player every single game in the regular season? No, but it's there when he needs it to be, and I do expect it to definitely come out in the playoffs, and he's been pretty good there all season. And then what he does as a playmaker, especially as a small forward, is pretty huge for the Warriors as well. The rebounding, the assists, I mean, he's my favorite guy in the NBA for a reason. I mean, the defense, being good enough on the outside shot, and then the playmaking. I mean, Iguodala is just great. James Johnson of the Miami Heat, who has always been an athlete as well as a defensive player with the wildest neck tattoo you're ever going to see. But he's really made improvements to his offense this season. I mean, he's still involved in like cuts and things like that to the basket, but his ball handling and ability to make a pass out to just shooters or guys rolling to the rim within Miami's hectic, organized chaos of an offense has just been huge. I mean, he's averaging over 12 points a game for them, and I talked about not too long ago how scared I am of the Miami Heat because of how many guys they have who can just do multiple things well. He's definitely one of them. I think he could defend a guy who's having a good night. I think he can roll to the rim and get his Draymond Green on with kicking it out to shooters in the corner. And he can also use his physicality to finish at the rim as well. And Miami Heat fans, you get a twofer. Tyler Johnson, another guy of the Miami Heat machine that can run a pick and roll pretty damn well, where he can then get by his guy and maybe it's pull up for a mid-range jumper or go to the rim and finish. He's putting up about 13 points and 4 assists on the season, as he has been a creator for the Heat. But the thing that's also huge is he's been decent from 3, even if he's been a little down lately. So even if he doesn't have the ball in his hands, he can still be effective, and given how many ball handlers they have with Dragic and Dion Waiters and James Johnson, like I mentioned, it's like, man, they're just tough to defend, the Miami Heat, and as a Celtics fan, I am terrified of these guys if we face them in the playoffs. Our last one, Malcolm Brogdon of the Milwaukee Bucks, who could be Rookie of the Year if you don't want to give it to Embiid because he's only played 31 games, which is understandable. He's just walked into the NBA as a rookie and immediately been a guy who's super competent when it comes to dribbling the ball, being involved in offense and attacking the rim, kicking out to guys, as well as being a damn good outside shooter, over 40% from 3. typically rookies are just not this good. He's been contributing to winning basketball. It makes sense given that he's an older rookie. I think he's like 23 or 24 years old. So Brogdon's going to round this thing out. Again, not in order. So Malcolm is going to round this thing out. And also, his Bucks scare me as a Celtics fan too, because they've been pretty good lately and they have Giannis. And I'm just ready for my Celtics to lose in round 1, so it's going to be great. Anyway, top 10 bench players, plus a whole bunch of other guys. This is really like a top 20 bench players, it feels like, but yeah, that's going to do it.